Hello, welcome to this short class with the aim of bringing a little bit of warmth and an activation on all the surfaces around the thighs and the hips. For this class you will need possibly a blanket, possibly a brick, definitely a belt or a bathrobe tie that you will first of all measure to make sure that it feels comfortable. And you should measure it in a way that when you put it above your knees, you're a good hip width apart. I mean, you can tighten it so that it feels comfortable, so that there will be a little bit of resistance when we take the exercise. So let's try to start first of all on our back. So have that belt at hand because you will need it soon enough. But otherwise here, get yourself down onto your back. And let's take a few breaths to notice what it's like to be in our body right at this very moment. Extend the legs if they're not extended, and notice the imprint that the back of your body makes into the floor. And so perhaps you'd like to start the left heel and calf and thigh, buttock and hip. The waistline, the upper left back, the shoulder, the arm, the hand, the left side of the head, crossing over to the right side of the head, the back of the head on the floor, the shoulder, the arm, the hand, the right upper side of the back, the waistline, the back of the hips, the buttocks, the thigh, the calf, the heel. Do those two sides feel fairly alike, fairly balanced, or do you notice differences? There is no right or wrong answer, there is no right or wrong feeling, simply the exploration here of what your body feels like lying down on the floor. When you're ready, if your eyes aren't already open, you're going to open them. Bring the feet flat to the floor. And then bring the knees in towards the chest, one by one, to hug the knees. Take the chin in towards the chest, forehead towards the knees. Release the head down onto the floor. Let's bring the fingers up. Let's bring the knees in line with the hips so the shins are parallel to the floor. If this pulls too much into the lower back, feel free to bring the knees a little bit more in. Otherwise, just adjust by taking the navel in towards the spine to have the core adjusted, if you like, or engaged. Take some rotations into the wrists and the ankles. And then in the other direction. And then have the toes and heels and knees together, and then start to take some rotation with the knees. Perhaps the hands are away. So as if you were trying to get into the corners of a square, if this makes sense. And then into the other direction. So sort of lower end of towards the left buttock, towards the right buttock, higher up onto the top of the hip on the left, on the right. And then release the feet flat towards the floor. You're going to take the left leg in towards the chest, lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, slide the hands behind the thigh. If here the head lifts, this is where you'd like to put a blanket underneath your head. You can rub the back of the thigh if that feels comfortable. Holding the back of the leg here, start to gently push the thigh against the arms. This will straighten the leg a little bit more. Some of you might have the leg straight already, some of you might have it quite bent. There's no right or wrong, just the sensations in your body. And then you can slide the fingers towards the thighs, and from close to your belly upwards, you're just sort of ironing out. Imagine you're ironing out the creases of your legs or the trousers. Just to feel basically the thigh muscles, quadriceps and hamstrings. And then you're going to bend the knee, release the foot to the floor, take it to the other side. So lift the leg up, hold the back of the thigh. Get a feel for it here, literally maybe rubbing your hamstrings. And then give into the warmth of the hands by pushing gently the right thigh against the hands. I'm not doing so much of anything with the calf or the foot. And then slide the fingers, the thumbs of both hands from close to your groin upwards towards the knee. And feel your quadriceps, your thigh muscle here. Good. And then you're going to release. From this, let's take the left leg up towards the ceiling. And you're going to take some circles with your heel as if you were sort of drawing a little circle along the floor. Along the ceiling, sorry, but this will also move into your hip. Don't go for big movements, just little movements here, controlled, and then in the other direction. You could extend the other leg if that's comfortable, but if this is maybe the first time you do this, keep your foot to the floor. And then bend the knee, release the foot to the floor. Take the right knee in, extend the right leg up. Your heel is making a little circle in one direction. And then in the other direction. And then release, allow the soles of the feet to come together, the knees to come wide. Allow the knees to go from side to side. Allow the hands to come to the floor. Press the soles of the feet together, lengthen the tailbone, and now lift your hips up and your back up so you've got an open bridge here. You can take it 2 or 3 times. You can release down and relax the buttocks and allow those thighs to open up a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone, press the soles of the feet together, lift your bum up off the floor, and then release. Let's take this one last time. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone, press the feet together. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, stay, and exhale, release. And when you release your bum to the floor, you'll then feel that stretch happen into the inner thighs. Separate the feet, bring those feet flat. Have the knees knocking in towards one another. And the feet may be a little bit wider than the hips. And we'll do this in reverse, essentially, the bridge in reverse. So this is a knocking in bridge. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, lift. You might feel the engagement of those glutes. Oh, yes. And then release. twice more. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, press onto the feet and lift. You might feel a stretch along the thighs, the quadriceps. As you next exhale, you release all the way down to the floor. Let's do this once more. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, lift yourself up. Inhale, stay. Exhale, release. Separate the knees, bring the feet more in line with one another. Hug the knees in towards the chest. A little rock from side to side. So imagine you're a tippy cup going from side to side. You may have a little bit of space between the toes and the heels and the knees, or you may have them together. Your hips are making those micro adjustments to keep yourself stable. Your core too. Come back to the center, release the right foot flat to the floor, and then here you have 3 options of where your legs might be. It could be up, it could be forward at an angle as such that the left knee is in line with the right knee, or it could be just hovering up off the floor. What you're going to do here is to swoop around. So I'm going to show it upwards, hoping that you can see this. Look towards your foot, and we took those hip rotations, the circles earlier on. We're going to go back to those, but you want to outwardly rotate the thigh. So essentially the thigh, the knee, the shin are looking towards the long end of the mat. They're turning in. And so here, my foot is up. I'm going to take half a circle. So I'm going to swoop down. And then as I swoop down, I'm going to internally rotate my legs. So I'm going to turn the toes in, and then that'll change the direction. So then I'm coming back in line upwards. I'm opening out again, outward rotation, inward, or rather internal rotation and external rotation. So external as I come out, internal as I come in. And probably no more than 4. 4 will be enough for me here. And then swoop in the other direction. So I'm going to go down, internal rotation, come back up, external rotation. And the width of the circles here really much depends on your mobility. So don't worry if you're still going quite small in the hip circles or going quite big, as long as it feels comfortable and warming. 4's enough. Woo. Extend the left leg, extend the right leg, allow them to flop out. And notice here what it feels like on the left side. Let's do this on the right side. Feet flat again. So here, again, you could have your knee in line with the other knee and then start the swooping. So you would externally rotate and then come down and then internally rotate and come up. Externally rotate, come down, internally rotate, come up. So you're internally rotating and externally rotating at the same time as taking a full circumduction, so full circle around the hip. And then in the other direction, so you're internally rotating, externally rotating. I feel I'm adding to my repertoire of mind-numbing exercises. They work your brain as well as your body. Release the foot to the floor, extend the right leg, extend the left leg, boop, drop them out, and take a couple of breaths here. Right knee into the chest, left knee into the chest, hands to the back of the thighs, and then rock back and forth, because it's 1, good for your spine, 2, fun. But here, maybe, if that's not for you to roll on your spine, then you can roll over onto your side. You're simply going to the side. So here, that strap that you prepared earlier on is going to be placed where the thicker part of your ankles, your calves are. And then I'm going to be on the side, legs on top of one another. Option, you can be onto your forearm. Try to have to be in sort of one length, or you could extend the arm and then hold the back of the leg. It's up to you here. Sorry, the back of the head. We're working the legs, so it doesn't really matter. From here, you keep the bottom leg down, but you're going to lift the other leg up. And then you're going to take about up to 5 breaths here. You really want that right leg to escape, but obviously it's tied up with the belt, and you might feel a little bit of warmth. Woohoo! Use your core, Alex. Here and here as well. So engagement into the inner thigh and the outer thigh. So the muscles around the hip, the glute, the flexors. Woof, and release. Now here I'm going to swap around the other side so you can see, but you could just roll over onto your side. Because I've got my microphone, I'm actually going to press my forearm down this time. So again, you might need to readjust. We're going to inhale and lift. And resist. You push against that belt. You feel that warmth. It might even, obviously as long as it doesn't cramp, but it might feel a little bit like it's going, what on earth are you doing to me? Well, working your hard hips, working you hard. One more breath. And release. Unwrinkle the forehead. Phew. And then here, let's remove the belt. Let's come on to the hands and the knees. Actually, let's come up onto our shins first. Slide the hands forward, tuck the toes, lift yourself into a down dog. You could stay into the hands and knees if you wanted to. Have a little play with your dog, have a little tail wiggle. Come back down onto your knees and then upright. We'll start with the right leg forward. So bring the right leg so that the knee and the ankle are stacked. Tuck the back foot, take the front leg back, and if you want to support your knee with a little padding, then you're more than welcome to do so. Here, keep the back toes tucked. Keep the front foot pressing down, big to little to inhale, outer heel. We're going to lift, but rather than lifting into a lunge where the bum lifts and the hips lift, we're going to try to have the hips glued forward so the tailbone comes in. That opens up a little bit more into the front and stretches the quadriceps without having to lift the body upward. And from this, we keep that tailbone in, we keep the toes tucked, and we lift the knee. The knee will not lift as high. And we exhale, we release. Let's do this another couple of times. Once more. And then from this, we are going to come back into the down dog. Bring the knees back down to the floor and take that leg that was back forward so that we can come into a runner's lunge. You may want to have a brick here at hand to help you. So you extend the leg as far forward as it will go. And you could have the brick underneath the thigh. And remember, if you have a tendency to hyperflex, or if you're basically your knee cap will push back down, so you want to hug the muscles in towards the bone so the kneecap is slightly lifted, and you may even want to bend your knee slightly. Wherever you are, feel the sensation into the hamstrings. When you're ready, tuck the back foot, take your brick to the side if you used it, bring yourself back, either hands and knees or down dog. And again here, notice the left side, comparison to the right side. Knees down to the floor, left leg comes forward this time so we can reach the quadricep on the right side. So here again, there we are, knee above the ankle. Tuck the back foot, glue your pelvis or your sacrum forward towards your pubic bone. Keep your hips low. Inhale, lift the knee on the right leg. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Down dog, or hands and knees. This time, knees to floor, right leg comes forward so you come into your lunge. Using your brick, no brick. Checking that you are supporting your knee, that you are mainly feeling the sensations into the hamstrings. Because here we've secreted the strength of the muscles around the inner thigh, the outer thigh, the quadricep, and we're doing the hamstrings. And the hip flexors too, and the glutes. We've done them all. Forgive me for not knowing all of the names of all the muscles that are inside our bodies. Again, down dog. Come back down to the floor. Sit yourself back into a child's posture. Slowly uncurl yourself back up and extend the legs forward. And to finish here, before we come down to a few breaths in relaxation, we'll take the right knee in towards the chest, keep that left leg extended, lift the chest, hug the left elbow around the right knee, right arm behind you. We'll take a little twist here. Gaze back through towards the center, spine comes back through towards the center. Extend the right leg forward. Take the left knee in towards the chest, hug it in. Right elbow around the left knee, left arm behind you, and again here twisting. Gaze back through towards the center, spine comes back through towards the center. Slide the legs forward and down. Slide yourself onto your back. One last posture to maybe have a try at before relaxation is feet flat, knees up, a bridge. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone and then lift yourself up. And here, can you take that left leg forward or even all the way up towards the ceiling? So here, that ultimate recruitment of all that we've worked for. You can take this 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. Bend the knee, release the foot to the floor. You can take a break and release yourself down and go straight to the other side. Remember, your knee could be down, your leg could be close to the floor, up or halfway, whatever feels comfortable. Release when you are ready. Foot flat to the floor, release the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. Hug the knees in towards the chest. A little tip from side to side. And you may now progress onto another hip class if you wish, or some postures that you favour, that you know you can do, or you can join me in relaxation by extending the legs, allowing the feet to roll out, allowing the arms to come out to the side. Press the back of the head down, lift the chest, roll the shoulder blades back and down. Allow the knees to open, the legs to roll out to the side. Can't really open your knees that way, thankfully. And let's take that journey that we took around our bodies at the beginning. Starting with the left heel, the calf, thigh, buttock, hip, waistline, the left side of the upper back, the shoulder, the arm, the hand, the back, the left side of the head. Notice how they now lay down against the floor. Move over to the right side, right back of the head, shoulder, arm, hand, the upper right side, the waistline, the back of the hip, the buttock, move over to the right side of the body, the back of the head, the shoulder, the arm, the hand, the upper right back, the waistline, the hip, the buttocks, thighs, calf, heel. How do they both side, now lay down against the floor. If you think back to how it was when you started. Now relax your forehead. Separate your teeth and your lips and allow your tongue to drop into the back of your throat. And take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready to wiggle your fingers and your toes, deepen your breath, lengthen the movements. When you can, roll over onto one side. Bring the top hand down to the floor, make your way back up to a comfortable seated posture. Let's inhale, arms up. Exhale loudly through the mouth. Let's take one more breath. Release the thumbs to the forehead for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind actions. I salute you. Namaste.